What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. It's Friday night. It's about time to go make that pizza run, watch a movie, kick back, and enjoy the rest of the night. But I decided to crank out this video very quickly to talk about something that was amazing, phenomenal, and a job well done. Earlier this week, McFarlane Toys debuted, teased a classic skewing Aquaman, Green Lantern, and Rebirth-era Batman with more Bronze Age colors instead of the black. It's way more blue and lighter gray. Fits more of that Bronze Age color scheme. Now, a lot of us were excited with that initial tease, but there was also the little caveat of it also includes a digital figure. And if you buy all three of these figures, you can collect and connect the Build-A-Figure, a digital only Build-A-Figure. Now, of course, in McFarlane Toys, pricing is a major factor because they run the gamut of pricing. Now, you see right over here, my red tornado, got that guy for $19.99. He's a really good figure for 20 bucks, and I got him this year, so it's not like, oh, years ago that was price. No, that was a 2024 price. But then on the other side of that, they're the $40 prices on Infinite Earth figures, which aren't worth $40. And I don't care whatever excuses are thrown out. Those figures are not $40 figures. But, we got the reveal and then the pre-order today for the Green Lantern, the Aquaman, and Batman. And shockingly, the price was not outrageous. It wasn't outlandish. It's 25 bucks. And that's the price we pay for Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe Classified series, Star Wars Black series, pretty much everything that's 6 inches at this point now. The WWE and Masters of the Universe figures haven't quite hit that $25 regular figure price point, but you got to figure it's a matter of time. They're holding out really well at $22.99. So keep it going as long as you can, guys. But 25 bucks for a figure is not bad in today's economy. And, it's just what everybody else is charging. So I can't knock it. But, look at this. Let's take a look at these figures because I think this is where he really did an awesome job and really got the job done. For me as a collector, got my interest. Green Lantern is pretty much perfect. This is Silver Age Green Lantern. This is the costume he's rocking right now in the comic books. Fantastic run by Jeremy Adams, Zermanico. Hope I said his name correctly, but it's been a blast reading that comic. And this is such an awesome Hal Jordan figure. The head sculpt's perfect. The little smirk, not too over the top, just subtle enough that it works just fine for him. That's really great, really awesome. He's using the hyper articulated Blue Beetle mold, which is great for articulation, not so much for the boot molds. I know some people are complaining about the pins. Again, I don't care as long as the pin wasn't white. If the pin was white, that'd be a problem. It's black like the rest of that outfit, so it's not messing up anything. So there's your digital stand card, whatever you want. This is telling you how to get the digital version of Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and there you go. You see, we got some new effect pieces, release effects that I haven't seen, little swirly punches, not the most unique and useful construct that Hal could come up with, but it's better than nothing, and that's kind of what I want to see from Hal Jordan. But of course, we've got these buckle or boot tips, cuffs, whatever you want to call them, so unnecessary. Just come up with a different mold, Todd. It's okay, but still a really solid figure and one I'm happy to have in my collection. And you see, we've actually got some alternate hands. That's good. Really nice to see that. So you can have a little bit more in terms of how you display them. The lantern, which you absolutely need to have. Of course, this handle is really excessively big, especially when you compare it next to this card art where it's like a really small handle. This is gigantic. It looks like a loop, but whatever. The lantern is not the most important part of this figure. It's the figure itself. And here's a better look at the accessories. They're kind of just big globs, really. And then the stand has McFarlane Toys digital, so I'm not really loving that because I love being able to use the black stand for anything because it works well for Marvel Legends and any other 6-inch, 7-inch scale figure. So that branding is a little bit annoying, but other than that, it's fine. Here's what it looks like in package. So really nice. It's clean. It's just basic, but shows off everything really nicely. And again, you're just not going to beat this Green Lantern. I'm going to just dump this cookies thing. There we go. So we can actually see the full thing. And this is from my affiliate, Entertainment Earth. And just, this figure is awesome. I am so happy with how this guy turned out. And trying to see if we can get a good shot of the ring. But it doesn't look like we're going to have one here. But, you know, I'm sure that's sculpted on. It looks great. It's about as good as I can get right now. But, yeah, okay. Now, the kicker. He's already sold out. Pre-sold out. He's coming in April, which I love about McFarlane Toys. You don't have to wait forever to get these figures when it gets debuted. Basically, we're in the final. We're in the end game, essentially, for these guys. It's not going to be a long time. It's going to be a really short time. And here we go. So then next up, we got another figure right away, which is cool to see. And that was Aquaman. And this Aquaman is not dramatically different from, oops, there you go, quick teaser. But it's not dramatically different from this Aquaman that I still need to open and review and all that good stuff. You can see it's pretty much plastic except for the long hair. It's kind of his new norm now in terms of how he's portrayed in the comics. But the gold V-tip on the collar is replaced with all orange. And it's a really solid mold. I think it works really well. I love the fact that they sculpted all of those shells / armor, whatever you want to call it. Now the head sculpt is interesting because, you know, they said we're going to get an alternate head sculpt. And this one's just a smiley one. And I don't know if I hate it or I love it, but it is a really happy Arthur. And that reflects him more of his, you know, Silver Age where he was happy and didn't have a lot of stuff to piss him off and get him upset. But the real surprise here is he comes with Quisp. And that was not mentioned whatsoever. And I'm sure a bunch of you are like, who the heck is Quisp? But Quisp actually is a long time Aquaman character. Let's take a look here. Aquaman #1. So he's been around forever. And basically, Quisp is Aquaman's version of Mr. Mxyzptlk and Batmite. So all the heroes had those little sprite characters who are nuisances and mischievous characters running amok, doing all kinds of wild stuff. And that is such a wild Easter egg to include with Aquaman here. So here's Aquaman #6, and he's got his sidekick hanging out here, Aqualad, and they're dealing with too many Quisp. And this is a 3.3 part thriller in Aquaman #6. So this is wild that we actually got this figure in here. Like, take a bow, Todd. That is really cool to include. Is he worth $25 if you have the original Aquaman figure? Maybe not, but I think that's a really nice bonus. Here is the head that we saw earlier. This is definitely has a water swept hair, but it's maybe not as bad as I thought with the blue background simulating him swimming. And this guy is like, he's got really good curly hair. So that's what we've got for this Aquaman. But I really love this sculpt. I think the colors a lot brighter than this one, which makes sense. You know, this one's more modern, and that one, this one here is a definite classic Silver Age version. Doesn't come with as much stuff, you know, but he's got a whole other figure, and I really think that's such a cool inclusion. And if he has just a little bit of articulation, maybe just around the shoulders, so he can move his arms up and back and forth, and the neck joint, so he can swing his head around, that would be really cool. Yeah, I'm still not sure about this smiley portrait. I kind of would have preferred a basic, hey, I'm out in the air with everybody else. My hair is relaxed and resting, not in perpetual motion, like I'm swimming under the sea. Cue up Sebastian. And you see again, he's got a card art that is more modern. It's not a Silver Age one, even though he threw in Quisp. I think McFarlane needs to hire an intern or a YouTube streamer who can go do that deep dive and find him some better reference art, because he includes the stuff that he should, but then he throws in a weird and incorrect card art. So it's just kind of wacky. So anyway, and this is not totally classic. So I guess that makes sense. He's definitely not smiling in these pictures. But if you want to go all the way old school, these tights, of course, would be black, but whatever, the trunk part, not the full thing. But I love the brightness of this. outfit. I mean, that really stands out and really would make him pop against other characters like Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Flash, Red Tornado, Martian Manhunter, and Wonder Woman. So I'm loving that we're actually getting much more of a satellite era DC Justice League coming in here. And I think I can work with this head sculpt. I wasn't sure what to make of it at first, but I'm okay with him having curly hair. And I love the inclusion of Quisp. I just think that is so fun and really cool. My introduction to Quisp, because clearly I was not reading Aquaman #1 back in the day, was when Grant Morrison included Quisp in a mega great JLA story. And those were so fun. I definitely recommend them if you never read them. And yes, the shoulders do have some articulation, so that's awesome. He can move. I love his head sculpt. He's smiling. Looks like he's going to cause some trouble. But when you take a look here, it also looks like there's a cut joint for right around the top of the legs there, so he can do a little swivel there. So that's more articulation than I was expecting for a bonus toss and figure. That's really nice. And the stoic head sculpt, I think, works really well for him too. It's a really great job with Aquaman. I just think this was a big unexpected win and really nice figure. So tremendous work again, great work. But then bam, he's pretty sold out again. So that's 2 for 2 in terms of the available figures in this line. And what does that tell you? That there's interest in these figures. Doing classic-esque or classic good enough. And collectors are going to go bite. They're going to be like, yes, that's good enough. I'll take it. So definitely a lesson. Hopefully McFarlane is learning, because we want to buy them and we want to buy relatively close to as old school as possible. And even if it's not possible, if it's good enough, we'll buy them. And speaking of good enough, we'll buy them. This Batman figure is really impressive. I love this head sculpt. I wasn't expecting to have any interest in this Rebirth version, but I really love this head sculpt. I think they did an outstanding job with this. This might be one of my favorite ones without any shading of the cowl area, but just a really nice job with it. And I like the pop of the blue. I think it really stands out here. There's that Bruce Wayne head sculpt I mentioned earlier. He's got the grapple gun with the hook, so you're not confusing it with an actual gun, because Batman, as we all know, likes to pull out all his weapons and not use firing guns here. So that's nice to see that. It's gold this time. It's an interesting color choice for him. And a gold batarang, which is another interesting inclusion. It actually looks like this card art actually matches up pretty well, because it looks like he's using the grapple gun right there. But this is a different looking mold. I'm not quite sure. I mean, this is not a different mold, but it's one that's going to stand out a little bit more with the rest of the classic skewing Justice League. But I do like it, and I feel like I might get this just because of how clean the outfit looks. The colors really pop, the detail in it. My big question with this one is, how does he scale with the other figures? Because if he stands up just fine, I will be most likely getting this. And for some untold reason that I had no expectation for, we'll be getting a digital Build-A-Figure along with these guys. I almost feel like, you know what, Todd, you could have just thrown in a Build-A-Figure. I think we've all been happy. I think 29 for this would have been fine. Again, pre-sold out in April. So, I mean, this is what we're talking about. Deliver and we're good. And this sellout does not just stick to the basic 3 figures, the whole set, a case of 6. So, you know, doubles of each one. Also pre-sold out. I don't know if that means Entertainment Earth just didn't order a lot, but, you know, what's going on? Amazon also sold out. Currently unavailable. We don't know if this item will be when or if this item will be back in stock. Green Lantern was sold out within an hour. These two, Aquaman and Batman, took a little bit longer to sell out, but wow. I think that just says everything we need to. Todd, this was what we want to see more of. Figures that look really classic, have good accessories, and have a reasonable price point. So you can throw in that digital figure if you want, and charging us a little bit more, because I think the default base price for these figures now is $22. You want to throw in a digital figure and say it's $3 more, I'm not going to complain, or $2 more. It's $24.99, not $25. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to be like, where are my pitchforks? I'm actually pretty fine with that. You know, this is a way to get more collectors into different style. If they want it, great. If they don't, who cares? It's only $2 for really well done figures. I'm not complaining about that. And wow, if you didn't get these figures, I'm sure they'll be available. We all remember the great panic about the Batmobile not being in stock. Let me just check because I'm like, let me just make sure it's still there. But I feel like, yeah, we were panicking greatly when that thing was coming in and out, the gold label Batmobile, and it was this mass panic, anarchy reigning all over when it was selling out. But now you can still get this Batmobile that we were clamoring to get. It's still a really reasonable price. I mean, say Batman's $25 and you've got a $50 Batmobile, which I'm not going to argue about either. So they will come back in stock, but this early initial sellouts, great news for McFarlane Toys with their DC Multiverse line and showing retailers there's definite interest in this. All three of these figures sold out. Even with this digital figure and build a figure setup, there's real interest in this. I really hope his main takeaway is, oh, they actually want more old school looks and not whatever flavor of the month is drawn in a comic and quickly discarded when a new creative team joins the book. So hopefully you'll learn that. But very exciting. I'm looking forward to getting, shockingly, all three of these guys. Not sure if I'll just move him over to a modern Justice League display when I actually open him, but I'm really looking forward to getting Aquaman and Green Lantern for sure, and Batman, so long as he scales properly. But let me know what you guys thought. Were you excited to see this price point? Are you going to get them? Did you already pre-order them? And I mean, April's going to come really fast. I mean, we're midway through February, so be an exciting time to add those guys to my DC collection. Thank you as always. It's time for me to grab some pizza, watch a movie. And for those of you who are hanging out with us tomorrow, we'll be back on for a watch along at 7 p.m. for Lyle's Movie Files. For now, this episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.